Hello, and welcome back to Convey with Caroline, the podcast where every story becomes your path to powerful communication and personal growth. I am your host, Caroline Giro, and in today's episode, we are discussing confidence in communication, how to master principles, systems, and consistency. In last week's episode, we talked about imposter syndrome, and this is a good precursor to what we're going to talk about today. We talked about how it stops us from achieving our goals and stepping into our calling. I know you're sitting there and you have probably had this challenge. It's time to go for the interview. You're seated, you're next, your name is called up and your heart starts beating. You walk into the room, cold sweat breaks out on your brow. You sit down and you're just feeling like the earth is going to swallow you. Or you're making a presentation. It could be in school. Maybe for some people, even group work. It could be something as simple as group work, and you're going to the front to present in front of the whole class, or you're defending your thesis or your project to your lecturer. For other people, it's at work. You know that today you're having a serious meeting with your supervising manager or with your boss or the head of the board, and you have to go and present something, and you're really scared of the outcome. It could be you're being vetted for a political position. And you're sitting there and the nerves have gotten to you, you're shaking, you feel like canceling, you almost want to call in sick or something like that. I'm sure it has happened to all of us, where sometimes confidence gets in the way of what we are trying to get done. It affects all of us. It has definitely affected me. While I'm not one of the people who are quite affected by having one-on-one conversations with people, I have suffered from the lack of belief in what I'm about to present, for example. I have gone to places where I have an idea and maybe I'm in a room where solutions are being discussed, and I have already looked through this problem and I understand it. Probably it's up my alley. I understand it very well and I have the solution. It has happened to me time and time again where I don't want to be the first to speak up. I first want to hear what will person one say, what will person two say. And you find a fear developing in you where you almost don't want to say what you know deep down in your heart is the right answer. You lack the confidence because you're scared that it could be wrong. But you sit in a room and find other people are confident enough to share any answer, whether wrong or right. It has happened to all of us. You've been asked to be a keynote speaker somewhere and you're wondering, I'm supposed to be speaking to all these people who are more senior than me, people who are more experienced than me, and you wonder whether this is the right thing. You feel sick to your stomach. Other people are even in jobs that require them to do this on a daily basis. People who are singers or performing artists who have to be on the stage every day or every time. Even people who are content creators. There are people who struggle with confidence, especially in a world that is cruel and you get a lot of feedback, some negative. You know, maybe you have done your best bet and sang your song on camera and shared it with the world, and you get comments like, find another hobby, find something else to do. What is that you're wearing? In such a critical world, our confidence can get quite a beating, and it can make you wonder whether to proceed. So as we move on, we need to ask ourselves, what is confidence? Confidence comes from the word confide. And who are we confiding in this case? Confiding in yourself. Confide means putting trust in something. So if we lack confidence, it means that we are lacking trust in ourselves. It means that you don't trust yourself. And we need to be able to dig into today and find out why is it that we have a problem trusting and believing in ourselves. If we look in the Bible, I like giving examples from the Bible. Last week, I know I gave the example of Moses. And today I want to talk about the biblical story of David. We all know about David and Goliath, which is featured in 1 Samuel. And you can read the story later. But in summary, we know David was a young smaller boy. He was lesser known than his brothers who are soldiers and who are stronger than him. And he was definitely 100% overshadowed by Goliath, who was a massive giant. When he went out there and he had volunteered to fight Goliath because nobody wanted to fight Goliath, everybody took it like a joke. His brothers were even laughing at him. You're scrawny, you're little, you're inexperienced. There were so many reasons why David was not the right person to go and slay Goliath. However, while everybody else was paralyzed by fear, David stepped forward. And that shows us a step in confidence, that you have to be able to accept to do the task. No matter how daunting it looks, there has to be that accepting of doing the task like David did. And he stepped forward and said, hey, I'm going to do it. right? And why did he do it? Remember, he didn't just come from the blue, and in as much as he was not a soldier, we cannot forget that he still had a skill set in something. Let's not forget that David was not a nobody. He was a shepherd. And he had defended his flock. I'm assuming when he goes out with his flock, then maybe they meet wild animals and he defends his flock. So he had some experience in him, not maybe for war, direct war, but he still had a type of skill set within him that was preparing him from this task. So that's another lesson we need to learn. The task itself might look unfamiliar, first time for you to do it. But remember, like David, you probably have an arsenal of tools that you can utilize from your previous experience on other things. 2, David trusted his skill set. He did not doubt himself even for 1 second. He knew he can do it. I can do this thing. And it doesn't matter whether anybody else believed in him or not. He believed in himself. I'm sure everybody standing around there was like, oh dear, let's start preparing the funeral. Oh my gosh, how much will the coffin cost? Everybody knew this guy can hack what he's doing, but he believed in himself. And he was secure in his purpose. He believed that he fought in the name of the Lord. So for us, sometimes we don't even know why we are doing what we are doing. We haven't found our purpose. So we don't have, again, somewhere to draw strength from. Because remember, what you have is not sufficient. That's why you are lacking the confidence in the first place. So you need to be able to be secure in your purpose and have something else grounding him. For David, it was he fought in the name of the Lord. So we have to know that David's victory was not mere luck. It was a result of faith, preparation, and alignment with a larger purpose. What do you believe in? Do you prepare? Is there anything you do to prepare for the assignment that you have? And do you have an alignment with a bigger vision? So if you don't know where to get started, especially with preparing, don't worry. Today's podcast is going to give you some tips that are going to help you to be able to do this. One of the things we need to accept is what confidence is not. Confidence is not arrogance, and we need to clarify the two. Confidence is a steady conviction that your preparation and your purpose matter. I've spoken about this issue in previous episodes, where I personally believe that our communication skills are grounded in our purpose. And for people who have a strong purpose, they're able to eliminate the noise of communication. In episode 1, I was able to talk about the communication process of how to pass a message from a sender to a receiver. And I talked about some of the components of communication process, including noise. And one of the biggest noise factors we have is either within ourselves or what is external. Within ourselves, imposter syndrome, fear, lack of confidence, which we've been tackling. And externally, other people's criticism of ourselves, other people not believing in us, other people making it difficult for us to get opportunities. So we have to remember that confidence is a conviction in what you're doing. And it's not a boastful attitude or a superiority complex. So let's not get it twisted. So what are the symptoms? How do you know that you are suffering from lack of confidence? 1, you find that you have a hesitation to speak up, like the example I gave of myself, where I know what I'm supposed to say, but I'm a bit hesitant to say it. For other people, it's even worse, where maybe even you have been called upon. Someone has literally called your name. Hey, Caroline, please tell us your thoughts on ABCD. You've been called up by your boss in a meeting, your teacher in class. But even when you're called up, you just shake your head and smile. Like, I'll go last. Even some people, even in something as easy as an introduction, people are being introduced and told to say something like, tell us your name, maybe tell us what you do with yourself, and and then you'll find some people who it gets to their turn and they're like, I'll go last, just continue with the others. Are you guilty of that? Why is it that you're scared to speak up? Lack of hesitancy to speak up ends up with you silencing yourself. So you have no voice. Nobody hears what you have to say, and nobody will ever get value from you. Another symptom is over apologizing and self-depreciation. Have you ever caught yourself in a conversation with somebody, or even you've been asked to make a presentation and immediately you start with, hey, good morning, everybody. I'm not an expert on this, but I want to give my thoughts. You've already started by doubting yourself. I'm not sure if this is right. Or maybe it's a Q&A and you want to ask a question and immediately you start with, I hope my question doesn't sound silly, or I hope you'll be able to understand me because, sometimes so you start already by over-apologizing for your existence or self-depreciating. Before you say anything, you want to first start by telling people, please know that I'm not good at this, Oh, and please know that even as I speak, please excuse me. I remember in high school, we used to have a beautiful choir, and they used to sing like angels. And they'd come up on stage, or anytime anybody would come up on stage to sing. Unfortunately, I was never one of them, despite really wishing to learn how to sing. And they'd sing so beautifully. But one thing I remember about high school is that whoever had the mic would get on stage, get the microphone, and then would be say, hello, everybody, I'm going to sing a song, and the song is called this and this. But as I sing it, please don't listen to the voice, just listen to the words of the song. And then they proceed to belt out this with this angelic voice. And then you'll be like, what was that? What was that self-doubt there? You know, you sing like an angel. So are you guilty of doing that ever? Where you start a speech with first trying to inform everybody in the room. Please note I'm not an expert. Please note I'm not good at this. Please know that, sometimes, yesterday I put this presentation quickly together. So please excuse me, if it has a mistake. You're perpetually apologizing. That's also a symptom of lack of confidence. Another one is constant external validation seeking. You need repeated assurance. The first time I saw a case of this was in one of my first jobs. I had this friend. She was very beautiful girl. Everybody looks at her. She's in any room. She was the beauty. Everybody's like, wow, this girl is so beautiful. Introduce me to your friend type of beauty. But every time I was with her, she was always very insecure. She's always like, is my hair okay? What do you think of my eyebrows? Are my lips okay? Is this okay? I had never seen a more insecure person in my entire life. And she was really, really, she still is very beautiful. And that constant needing somebody to tell you like, no, you look nice. No, you look beautiful. Yeah, everything is okay. And you will not take natural feedback, but you will always seek for compliments. You're fishing for compliments perpetually. You want to start your presentation. Okay, I want to start you took like 2 hours to get ready. And you get there and you're like, I hope everything is okay. What do you think of my suit? Is my suit okay? I was not sure about the color. You think the color is okay? And then you ask another person, another person, another person. That perpetually seeking external validation is also a symptom of lack of confidence. And obviously, fear of making mistakes. I'm guilty of this one. Preferring not to try at all rather than risking getting it wrong. Like the example I gave, a lot of us may also have that fear of making mistakes. And so we would rather not try at all. How does this impact your communication? It impacts your communication, it impacts your personal brand, your business brand, or whatever it is you're trying to do, because there's unclear messaging. You're not speaking up, so people don't get to know everything that you need to say. You doubt your own words. If you doubt your own words, you tend to fill them with perpetual disclaimers, and you end up diluting your impact. Another thing is inconsistent branding. Because you're not quite sure what you're doing, your wavering self-beliefs. Today you feel confident, tomorrow you don't. All that leads to scattered messaging, either in your professional or your personal branding. Another one is reduced influence. This one is a sad one because it costs you opportunities. Because you never speak up, you teach and train everybody around you that you have nothing to say. So even next time, where even people who are believing in you, like your boss, your parent, or people like that, will reach a point where they'll stop calling upon you. They've already learned that so-and-so is always quiet, so-and-so has nothing to say. So the one day you truly, genuinely have something to say, nobody calls you up. They just keep you because you're training people that you have nothing of importance to say. This reduces your influence. It reduces your opportunities. We live in a world of social connection. Networking is business currency nowadays. So nobody refers anybody to you because you're training them that you have nothing to offer. What can we do about it? Where do I start? I want to give you some practical tips that can help you to align yourself to becoming more confident in everything that you do. The first step I'll give is to identify your why and align your skills. Your motivation for speaking or communicating should match your unique skill set and goal. So ask yourself, what is my proven track record? What are the things that I know for sure that I have done well? And then bring them to that role. Sometimes some things don't look like they match, but they would shock you. I remember when I first wrote my first concept for a podcast, because I was supposed to start this podcast a couple of years ago. And I really struggled with whether to inject my faith into the podcast. I felt it might not resonate. I felt it might be perceived poorly by certain people. Will it be politically correct? And I struggled. That was a struggle that I had. But when I sat down and really critically listed my strengths, I realized I do have a message to share. And if I remove my faith from my communication message, then I'll be left with a shell of something that, yes, I'm good at, but I am refusing to use the ammunition that I have in a different sphere to elevate this other job. That's an example of how some skill set you have can help you in something that you did not know you could do. And we see that a lot even on social media, where people are now combining two different things that they are good at the same time. You might find somebody has a podcast and they're doing a cooking show at the same time because they're good at cooking and they're good at, speaking. So also remember to ask yourself and align your skills. Number 2, we need to understand the principles of the things that we do. What do I mean by that? We live in a world where certain inputs produce certain outputs. That's the way the world works. And the best way to excel in something is to know with certainty that if I put in this effort, I will get this result. That's what we do when we are cooking. You know that if I take eggs, this number of eggs, this amount of milk, this amount of sugar, this amount of flour, mix them all up, add some vanilla, I'll end up with a vanilla cake. So if you follow your recipe and you have confidence that you will get this result. So you're able to replicate it and replicate it and replicate it because you have a formula. That's how life works in general. There are principles. When you go to take a shower in the morning, when you turn the knob in the shower, you know for certain the water will come out. You know that for sure. How do you know the water will come out? Because of a proven track record. That when the plumbers came in, set the pipes, we put in the tanks, water is flowing from the water company. When I open, the water will flow. So ask yourself, are you learning and adhering to the principles in the industry that you're in? Whatever you're doing has a principle. And we have to start from a point where we know nothing about something, we get proficient at that something, and then we get mastery of that something. So ask yourself today, don't try to jump to the very top of mastery when you've not even understood the basic principles. That's why children learn so well, learning something from scratch and then working on incremental growth with every passing day. If you're not, then please do that. If you practice something for 10 minutes a day or even 1 hour a week, there is no way on earth you will be the same after 10 weeks, after 20 weeks, after 30 weeks. But you do have to be consistent about it. So what do? Choose one skill that you want to be good at, write out a weekly or a monthly schedule, and you can decide how to do it. Like I said, let's leverage on artificial intelligence to help us with these tasks. Number 3, you need to have a proactive mindset and consistency. Confidence grows through consistent efforts, not one-time bursts. You have to be able to do something over and over and over again. For example, if you're in a campus or college and you want to be good at making presentations, you don't have to wait until you do one presentation a term. In 3 months, you've only gone to the front one time, you fought through nerves for 2 months, finally did it, it went well, and you're like, fuchs, and then you don't do it again for another 6 months. It might not add up to making you confident. You need to put a timetable to yourself where you say, I am going to look for opportunities to speak up in class at least once a week. At least once this often. Do it consistently until you reach a point where you see progress. Another one is, I think I have already alluded to using artificial intelligence, but truly AI can accelerate your learning curve if used consistently and used to leverage your skill set. Artificial intelligence helps the people who already have a plan, who already have a skill set. If you have no skill, no foundational knowledge about what you want to do not think for a moment artificial intelligence will help you to come up with something good. AI helps people who already know the platform with which they are starting with, and then you can build on that. I already mentioned where we have even apps like Gamma for making presentations. If you go and say, make me a presentation about this, it will make you a presentation about that, but it is not going to differentiate. It's not going to have anything special for you. It's going to remove the same template for many other people giving similar prompts. You have to come with some knowledge of what you're trying to achieve, what you're trying to say, so that you can have points that help you way more. Please, if you're not already using artificial intelligence to help you, it can help you in planning. We have AI tools to help you with planning, to help you with your calendar, to help you with text generation, voice generation, video editing. We have AI apps for almost anything. Infographics. Are you using artificial intelligence today? And if not, why not? Also, we can use AI for data-driven feedback to reduce your guesswork and build an authentic confidence. Growth mindset. Your mind is critical. Just like David, if you don't believe you can do it, no amount of preparation, no amount of encouragement is going to get you to do it. You have to believe you can do it. And that belief comes by going back to yourself and your purpose and knowing that every challenge or mistake is a step towards mastery. Remember, mastery doesn't come overnight. And even the great masters you see who are already very good at something, please ensure that the person who you follow as a mentor or you admire, go back and read the story of that person, how they began. You will realize that even for them, it wasn't overnight success. Last week, I saw a video, old video of the YouTube founders having a meeting. They were having a meeting. They were sitting in a room discussing, and one of them was so discouraged, saying like, this site of ours is not doing really well. We only have about 40 to 60 videos up. We're not getting traction, and it's getting depressing. There's a video like that about the founders of YouTube. Can you imagine that? So do not see for a moment somebody who you feel has achieved something and you're getting frustrated and lacking confidence in yourself because you're not attaining what this person that you admire has attained. Go back to that person's journey, reach out to them or read their story, and you'll realize they started from a particular foundation and built on it over time. Next, align with your natural order or faith. The universe was created. The universe was created. And the creator who created us and the universe created some certain systems that we cannot argue with. If every single day I wake up and I have pizza and burgers for breakfast, lunch and dinner, I don't eat any fruits or vegetables, I don't exercise, naturally my body will respond. And very soon I'll be able to see something about that. Similarly, if I decide that I want to lose 10 kilos of weight and I follow the natural principles and I do it safely, and I start eating portion control. So if you learn principles of how the natural order is, you align yourself with that purpose. The faster you align yourself, the better it is for you. There's no shortcut on earth that leads to long-term confidence and clarity than aligning with that. If you apply some of the principles that I've laid out today, and you apply them consistently, work on your mindset, let go of the noise and the fear and the imposter syndrome. You're well on your way to becoming confident, and increased confidence will make you more visible, increase your opportunities, and help you convey with excellence. So I know some of us wear a mask. We're inside, we are dying, our nerves are afraid, but we put up an act. The problem with putting up an act, it will crack. It will crack and it shows. We might be putting up the best act, but you cannot do it consistently 24/7. It's hard business. It requires self-reflection, looking at yourself in the mirror. It's hard work. But also walking around with low self-esteem is also hard work. So choose your hard. If I want to eat badly all day long, eat anything I want to eat, overeat, eat the wrong things, the consequence is hard. I may have weight I've put on that I don't like. I don't like how I look. I don't feel good. I feel tired all the time. It's hard. But also working out and getting fit is also hard. So choose your hard. If you go to meetings or you go to places and you like talking to people and you find people are so knowledgeable and you also like to be knowledgeable, then you have to learn to read more, read books, do more research. But doing that means creating time. Creating time is hard. But also being in conversations where you know nothing is also hard. So at some point, you just have to choose which hard am I comfortable with. The hard where I lack confidence and I have to always put a mask, or the hard where let me take 6 months and do the work. And after 6 months, I'm a new person. That's some encouragement I'd give about that. We also hear the term overconfidence, arrogance thrown about. For me, I am of a different point of view. I don't believe in overconfidence. I believe either you're confident or you're not. There's a difference between confidence and arrogance. And sometimes arrogance is what some people might call overconfidence. Confidence is a belief in yourself. In simple terms, it just means that you believe in yourself. It means you believe in what you're doing. It means you believe in the reason why you're doing that thing. It means you believe that you have the particular skill set that it takes. You know that you're not the topmost expert in the world, but you know you're able to do the task. And you believe in yourself. That's all it means. And it can be threatening, especially for people who are confident. It can be threatening to people who have not reached that level yet. They might perceive it as you're being too much. Umekuja sana, like slow down, slow your roll. And that's the way generally it tends to be. When anybody passes the mark of where you're on the positive side of the herd, it always looks bad to the other people. So if you find somebody is very athletic, watching what they eat, and they're comfortable living a nice, healthy lifestyle, to people who are living an unhealthy lifestyle, it comes across like, why are you starving yourself? Just eat. Why are you refusing? What are you scared of? It's always like that. People on the two different divides, the ones who are on the hard of they've chosen the hard that is where they're doing the wrong things, will never understand the mindset of the people who are doing the hard of the right thing. You know, if somebody is running, maybe you run every morning, you wake up at 5 a.m. to run. Somebody who is in their bed and who wakes up at 8 or 9 o'clock will never understand why you wake up at 5. Like, don't you love yourself? Don't you want to sleep? They'll never get it. So never focus on people who don't understand what you're trying to do. I've been the same way. This year, I managed to finally kick off, late last year actually, I managed to kick off sugar from my tea. Yeah, I did it. But before I did it, I'd always wonder, like, why do people like punishing themselves? Like, why you punish? Like my mom doesn't have sugar in her tea. And I'd always ask her every time she was around at my house, I'd ask her, like, why? I mean, why are you making life so difficult for yourself? I mean, 1 spoon of sugar. But now that I have joined the other side, you know, I now see it wasn't that hard, but I couldn't understand it when I was not there.